Hi, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Jeff Davis. I'm one of the members of the Respectful School support team. This short video is the second in a three-part series entitled Getting the Conversation Started, Relationships, Rules and Routines. The intention of this short series is simply to help inform conversations in your school around these three important areas. These videos don't attempt to completely tackle these large areas, but simply to assist in getting the conversation going. In the first video, we looked at relationships, specifically at the importance of building positive teacher-student relationships. Although this package is entitled the 3 R's because it makes it easy to remember, I would like to change the second R to an E. Although rules and expectations are often viewed as interchangeable terms, expectations have more of a positive connotation. The implication is that expectations are tools for helping as opposed to enforcing and involve commitment rather than compliance. Expectations tell students we believe this is how you can be, and we're going to help you be that. So why teach behavioural expectations? Clearly stated expectations convey to students what teachers want. In addition, they tend to guide student behaviour and strengthen teacher monitoring. Many of you may be familiar with the PBS triangle or the continuum of supports and interventions. This version from Education Queensland's Better Behave, Better Learning Professional Learning Suite demonstrates the overlay of relationships, organisation and curriculum to this PBS triangle. In modern behavioural support, teachers use positive and supportive relationships, sound organisation of the physical environment and lesson structure, and engaging and relevant curriculum in order to keep students productive and behaving appropriately. Realising that behaviour is skill-based and varies with the individual and the situation, teachers also use different levels of behavioural support to cater for student needs rather than adopting a one-size-fits-all approach. Our focus today would connect with the universal or whole school class supports at the bottom of the triangle. We're looking at teaching and acknowledging the appropriate productive behaviours we desire to see. There's not time here to unpack the targeted or intensive supports. However, it is important to note that the research is clear that the universal approaches are for all students and would work effectively with approximately 80%. Behaviour is skill-based and must be taught. All schools publish rules and behavioural expectations of some description on their walls in policy documents around the school, but this is not enough to promote positive behaviours in students. Behaviour is systematic and skill-based, and many of the specific behaviour expectations that students and teachers have are unique to their situation and their system. Schools and teachers will therefore teach the students the necessary skills and then revisit and reteach these skills, especially but not only after periods when the students have been away from school. When looking at the connections from this area to the frameworks and documents we have been talking about, we can see that with the AITSL standards, the Australian Professional Standards for Teachers, Standard 4 connects with create and maintain supportive and safe learning environments. The National Safe Schools Framework connects strongly with the Element 5, Positive Behaviour Management, and also Element 2, a supportive and connective school culture. With the National School Improvement Tool, Domain 3, once again, a culture that promotes learning. And our Learners First strategy, connected and inspired. This is evidenced in our values and our key drivers within this particular document. So how are we going to create these behavioural expectations? There are 3 main steps I would like to go through: define, to teach, and to monitor and reward. Often as teachers, we establish our expectations, especially at the beginning of the year, but then school life happens. Schools are busy places, and as things are pushed onto our plate, other things start to fall off. If we allow our expectations to fall off the plate, we will find ourselves with even less time to do the many things that we need to or are asked to do. So we must start to define. With our definition of our behavioural expectations, we need to start by linking this with our school-wide values. Most schools will have school-wide expectations or values. If you don't know what they are, you need to ask. And if they don't exist within your school, ask why not. The next step is to co-construct with the students if possible. We know from our experience and from research that students are more likely to adhere to expectations that they have been involved in creating. Limit the number of year expectations that you create. 3 to 5 is best. If we have more than 5, students and teachers will struggle to remember them. They should be positively stated and descriptive. Avoid the negatives, the list of don'ts. Neurolinguistics has started to explain to us more the power of stating what we want to see, not what we don't want to see. Take up the challenge of stating your expectations positively. They can appear as short sentences. Students should, blah, blah, blah. Students will, blah, blah, blah. Or in 5-6 Davis, we. The next major step is to teach. With this, we need to unpack. The creation process was a teaching one. As you were able to talk to your students about why we need to have certain expectations in our classroom and how they connect with the wider school expectations, now you need to unpack them with specific examples within your classroom. At a school-wide level, this is often done through the creation of a behavioural matrix. Within the classroom, explore with your class what these expectations will look like when entering the classroom, when sitting in a circle, when working in groups. Refer to your expectations when teaching and revisiting your routines. Publish. Publish your expectations in your classroom, in your teaching space. Publish and refer to them. You need to model. Remember that these are the expectations of all the learners in the teaching space, and the teacher is a learner. Modelling is one of the most powerful classroom management tools that teachers possess. Moving now on to monitoring and rewarding. We start here with the pre-correcting, referring to our expectations to remind students before an instance of unproductive behaviour. When this is particularly useful before a transition. Okay class, we're now about to pack up. Now when we pack up, we move safely through the room and we respect other people's belongings in their personal spaces. This simple sentence would link back to other conversations you've had with your class. The teacher has had these and the students can now refer to what safety and respect looks like when they are moving. Reminding. When using the management strategy of reminding students of our expectations, we are referring to them and using the displays in the room to prompt students. Use your expectations as a common language when speaking with your students about unproductive or inappropriate behaviours. Acknowledge. Acknowledge students who display the classroom expectations. Draw attention to the behaviours you do want to see and cue other students into that behaviour. I really like the way this group of boys have their pens down and their eyes to me, showing that they are respecting others. Referring to the expectation itself within this sentence helps to cement it in the student's mind. Revisit and reteach. Regularly revisit the expectations process, at least once a term. It is recommended that classes focus on one of their expectations each week. If a certain behaviour is becoming an issue in your class, then revisit the connected expectations and reteach them. Remember, behaviour is a skill. If you have your Respectful Schools Respectful Behaviour resource with you, you can now turn to page 20, Behavioural Expectations. In light of this short presentation, read and reflect on this professional practice section. How might you define, teach and monitor and reward your classroom expectations? Thanks for your valuable time. If you'd like more information about the content or references within this presentation, please contact the Respectful Schools support team.